Well, good morning. I'm Brent.
And I'm Ryan.
And we want to thank you for joining us this morning for a very special edition of Brent and Ryan in the morning. We're actually on location, Ryan.
Yeah, you dragged me down here. It was somehow, we were having a conversation about all the changes going on at the church, and you said, I think we need to go down to my gym.
That's right. So that's where we're at. We're at Farrell's, and this is now Farrell's Jordan Creek. It used to be Farrell's Ashworth, but within the last couple of weeks, they actually moved from their previous location where they'd been for several years, the location that I started at and have been at for the past 2 years, and now we've moved here just to the west of Jordan Creek Town Center in our new location.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to understand, Brent, is in the conversation we were having in your office, you said you've moved to this beautiful new location, beautiful room, everything looks great, and you're having some issues with the change.
Right. A couple nights ago, I was laying in bed, and as I was just laying there processing the day, I was thinking about all the changes that have been coming and are coming at the church. And specifically, this is a week for big change.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on.
A lot going on. One big change in particular is that we are removing the pews from the worship center, and we are adding chairs. And we know for many people that is a huge and massive change. And, you know, sometimes as I think through those things in the evening as I'm laying in bed, my ADD mind always doesn't shut off when it should. But I thought about even how sometimes people perceive us as the leaders in the church. They look at us and they just think, oh, you guys just want to change. You'll change anything, and it doesn't affect you at all.
Right. But what I was finding out in this conversation is Brent has feelings too. And it was wonderful.
Miracle of all miracles.
Right.
He's not the Grinch.
And so I thought, you know, this is a good conversation to have about understanding. Change does impact all of us, even when we're surprised by the level of impact it has.
And one of the reasons I wanted to bring you here to our new Farrell's location was just to kind of talk through some of the change that I had to process in moving from Farrell's Ashworth to Farrell's Jordan Creek. And let me just tell you, Farrell's Ashworth had been there for years. The paint, you could kind of tell, was fading a little bit. The mats were a little bit worn. Some of the bags were falling apart. I mean, it was just kind of used. And as you look around this room, you can tell there is brand new paint on the wall. There's brand new sound system. There's these beautiful televisions, huge televisions that tell us how fast our hearts are moving when we're working out. New bags, everything is brand new here, and it is beautiful. But as I approached the change, I began to realize that just moving even across town just a little bit, it was affecting me just a little bit.
Yeah. And some of those changes, I mean, I know the other Farrell's was a minute from your house.
I did. I loved it.
Now you have to cross traffic.
Yes, stoplights. Multiple stoplights. I could leave my neighborhood before and go through the neighborhood and hit the Farrell's location without hitting a single stoplight. It was amazing. Now I think I hit 6 between my house and here, and it's a pain. And it takes me, instead of a minute, about 8 minutes to get here, which isn't a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
But as you were conveying to me how some of the change was impacting you, it's a lot more than just the drive.
It is more than just the drive. You know, you have to get used to some things in the room. The mats, because they're brand new, we love them, but they're slicker, and you have to be careful when you're working out. We have new bands that we use for strength training, and so they're a little bit tougher than what we might be used to.
You don't feel so strong.
Know what? That's exactly right. I like using those tougher bands. It makes me feel better. Yeah. But you know, one of the biggest changes that I found I was struggling with, when I come, and I'm here almost every day at 7:15, when I walk in the room, I don't know where to stand. In the old location, I had my spot. And I knew the people that were sitting around or standing around me too, the people that I'd be working out next to. But now when I come in here, I'll see this big room, and it's beautiful. And I'll set my stuff down, and then 2 or 3 people will come in, and they'll be really close to me, and I'll be like, I'm going to pick my stuff up and go stand somewhere. I'll end up moving 3 or 4 times. But in the old place, I knew where to stand. In this place, I'm still struggling to figure out, where am I going to stand? And it just creates an awkwardness.
Yeah, and I think it was in our conversation where you were talking about your challenges with the change here that it was just so apparent to us, you know, the types of challenges that different people are having who've been at Ashworth for 10, 20, 30 years. You have your pew and you know where you're going to sit, and all these changes when added up on top of each other, it does feel like a lot of things are changing.
It feels like too much is changing, and you feel uncomfortable. And a place where you could go and you could just walk in every week and you knew everything and you felt comfortable, starting Sunday is going to feel a little uncomfortable for a little while. The sanctuary, the worship center is going to be laid out a little differently. And so that spot that you had, you may end up having to move. And you may move 3 or 4 times over the month to try to find that space. But the reason I wanted to bring you here and shoot this video here was because I just wanted our people, our church family, to understand that we get it. We understand that change is not easy. That everything that we are looking to do, change, it's hard. And there is a little bit of a grieving process. I know Amy was talking to us the other day, and even me, I've had conversations with people where, as we've talked about the change, there's actually tears that come to people's eyes because it is such a difficult process, and it reminds us that some of what we're going through is grief.
Yeah, it is. And it's natural because we understand as a church, we've been writing the chapter of a long history in this church. But by making all the change that we're making, we are closing one chapter and beginning to pen the next.
And even another parallel with the Farrells' move from Ashworth to here very much parallels why we're doing this as a church. That location at Ashworth had been there for a while. They had pretty much tapped that neighborhood for new people to come in and be a part. And you and I both know, where's the growth happening in this?
It's all to the west.
It's all here
of Jordan Creek
It's all
Mall.
right here. And so for Farrells to continue to grow, and they believe that the owners here are friends of mine, and I believe with them that they have a great program. It helps people get healthy, and they want to continue reaching people. And so in order to make that happen, they felt like the best way they could do that is to move from that previous location to this location over here. And as we make these changes in our church, we do them because we feel like that in order for us to continue to reach our community, our neighborhood, these changes help us to do that just a little bit better.
Right. And so that's why we're excited about these changes. It's a little bit of a tension inside of us. It's bittersweet because we see the change. We understand the difficulty people are having. Even as we removed the pews last night, we had that moment of feeling like, okay, take a breath. This is really happening.
We're doing
They're coming out. But at the same time, some things have to change to make room for the new. And we're really excited about what God has been doing at Ashworth for decades and where, though, we see he's taking us in the future.
And the important thing is we don't want to just be a church that's existed for the last 50 years. We want to be a church that exists for the next 50 years. And to do that means we may have to think differently about how we do things. We're trying to do it as fiscally responsibly as we can, as ministerially responsibly as we can, and we want to do it with you on the journey with us. And so really, we want to end this video today just by saying we understand the pain and the hardship. We understand the difficulty. We are not heartless most of the time, but we understand. But number 2, we just want to say, take this journey with us. Please be willing. You know, one of the things that didn't change for me at Farrell's was my 715 family. It's those people that I met when I first walked through the door, that uncomfortable January 2 years ago, and they're still with me. And Sheila and Sally and Todd and Stephen and Diane and that whole crew are part of the reason I continue to get up every day to come back to this place. Even if it's a new location, even if it takes me longer to get here, that's my family. That's my Farrell's family. And I want to be here to see them because I love them. And they're part of my life. And so I hope you, seeing the value of the Ashworth family, will take that journey with us. And I do hope that, as I heard somebody say recently, that a year from now, when we look back, the pain is gone, the change is made, and we look back and we think to ourselves, why didn't we do this sooner? That's what we hope.
We may not feel that way right now, but as when we adjust to change, the change becomes the new normal.
Yes, it does.
And so we just encourage you to have patience through this change. We'll all go through the change together. But down the road, this is going to be the new normal, and we hope that the new normal is many new people coming in.
Absolutely.
And seeing stories of life change and baptisms and all those things that we know you all care about as much as we do.
Absolutely. That's true. So thanks for watching this video today. We want you to know we love you guys. I love my job. Ryan loves his job, even though he's got a crazy boss that drags him to Farrell's to film videos.
Yeah.
We love you guys. We love what we get to do. And if we didn't, and if we weren't convinced that God is doing something amazing through this church body, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I am excited about what God is going to continue to do in the future. So thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you guys later.
So Brent, we're going to sign me up for that free membership for a month now?
Absolutely. Tracy's in her office. Let's go get you signed up.